Follow a little bit. He's kind of working his way along.
Krista.
Well, Jimmy Johnson was sort of hanging back in that first segment because he was concerned with the possibility of overheating. But when I talked to him in that break, he said the drivability on this car is great. I can go anywhere on the track that I want.
Well, Clint Bowyer just went anywhere but loose.
Oh, man, he was about ready to go into Lake Lloyd. I'm telling you, that baby was out of control.
Let's have another look.
I'm pretty sure at some point right here, he let go of the steering wheel and let it correct itself because he is gone right here. Whoa.
Well, yeah, his teammate Martin Truex Jr. in the 56 was pushing him, but he couldn't go anywhere because Carl Edwards in the 99's right there.
Here we go.
Well, that gives a new meaning to bump and run, doesn't it?
Ooh. He's saying, I mean, the cars move around. When they're in packs like this, they move around so much from the buffeting of the wind that sometimes you got to take every bit of the strength you got not to fight that steering wheel. Hold it steady.
Greg Biffle on the inside lane leads them back to the line to complete 31 of the 75 laps. His teammate Carl Edwards in tow, then Clint Bowyer. Whoa, Bowyer around off the bumper of Martin Truex, and he's going for a ride.
I think he's all right. He's out through the grass.
Caution on the speedway.
See a little steam coming out of that thing too, Larry.
Bowyer tried to change lanes and peek out, but Truex was right up against his bumper. Two teammates of Michael Waltrip Racing, and we'll have a look here.
You know what happened to Bowyer down here testing, don't you?
That is Martin Truex. The 15 is Bowyer. Catching Edwards.
There he goes to that left side.
Ooh.
And Darrell, no one knows this better than you. That was through the tri-oval. The tri-oval can be one of the most treacherous places on this racetrack.
The car is freer and looser right there than anywhere on the track because you don't have the banking. You're going 200 miles an hour, but you have not very much banking.
Well, let me ask Michael Waltrip, who owns both those cars. Michael, the drivers are not allowed to be in radio contact with each other. How could Martin Truex know that Bowyer was trying to change lanes to get around Edwards?
There's no way he could have known, Mike. Just like last night, Tony Stewart had no idea Kurt Busch was going to go up the hill to pass that slower car. Kurt moved up, Tony spun him out. That wreck is no one's fault. There's no way Martin knew what Clint was thinking, and Clint was like, I got to run, I got to go. Come on, Martin, follow me. Martin just couldn't react as fast as Clint did because he didn't know what was going on.
Third caution of the night. Clint Bowyer, you can hear something flat, something gone wrong as he makes his way back around to pit road. And Denny Hamlin will get the free pass for the second time tonight. That should put Hamlin back on the lead lap.
Yeah, it puts Hamlin back on the lead lap.
Select your team for the Daytona 500 and get in on the action with Fox Fantasy Racing, presented by Farmers Insurance. Pick your team of 5 drivers. Play fantasy racing all season long. Sign up today at foxsports.com/fantasy. Pits are open. Let's see if there's any takers, because as Larry pointed out, you're going to want one stop, I think.
Well, no question. If you were borderline, and as I also said, you have to think about 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. You have 43 laps. You could make it easily, but I think we'll see a lot of drivers, especially in the back part of this field. I think they'll definitely come to pit road. We may see the entire field. It may only be for gas, but I think we'll see them pretty much hit pit road.
25 cars started, 3 out of the race from the lap 10 crash. Paul Menard, David Reagan, Michael Waltrip. Casey Kane 3 laps down, Jeff Burton 2 laps in arrears, and Clint Bowyer 1 lap down. And here comes almost everybody. Dick Berggren.
Martin Truex wanted Clint Bowyer to know that he didn't mean to turn him. He got into him a little bit there on the backstretch. They've told Truex not to worry. Bowyer is just fine. Truex for fuel. Krista.
Carl Edwards had talked about taking fuel only. They know they needed that, but he said, hey, let's get a couple new wheels out here. A couple new sneakers. They're taking right side. Steve?
Greg Biffle takes off down pit road. No No tires, fuel only, Matt.
Fuel only for McMurray. He's away. Meanwhile, 4 tires and fuel. The call by Dave Rogers on the 18 of Kyle Busch. He'll be one of the last cars to leave pit road.
Greg Biffle comes out first. Only 2 lead lap cars did not stop. The 2 Penske Dodges, A.J. Allmendinger and Brad Keselowski, stayed on the racetrack. We're under caution as Martin Truex turns Clint Boyer around inadvertently. The Budweiser Shootout on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Aaron's, credit is hard, Aaron's is easy. And by 5-Hour Energy. Trouble turn 2.
No.
5, 6 cars in it.
Get low, get low, get low. Check up, check up, check up, check up. Get low if you can. Damn good job getting through that now. Stop right there, dude. You're on fire, man.
The dreaded consequence of pack racing is the big one. "35 laps complete in the Budweiser Shootout. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip with you. 25 laps under green, 10 under caution. 3 caution flags, 8 different leaders, 11 lead changes.
Those 2 drivers that stayed out, they waited to the 1 to go, A.J. Allmendinger and Brad Keselowski. Then they came to pit road, and all they did was took fuel.
But even some of the guys that came in on that first go-round came back down and topped up, getting some insurance in case we go green, white checker here at the end, and it's very, very likely.
So we'll restart with Greg Biffle and Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the front row. Biffle, the leader, elects the outside. Junior inside. Montoya and Logano row 2. McMurray and Truex in row 3. Kenseth and Johnson. Newman and Edwards the top 10. "19 cars still on the lead lap. Clint Boyer 1 down, stayed in the race after that spin after a long stay on pit road. Jeff Burton 2 laps down, Casey Kane 3 down. And in the garage, Paul Menard, David Reagan, and in the Hollywood Hotel, Michael Waltrip. Pace cars in, 40 laps to go. Green flag.
Darrell, I'll be anxious to see what happens here. We talked about practice yesterday. McMurray in the 1, his teammate Montoya in the 42. It's taken them a while, but they have found each other right there in that outside line. And you can see McMurray in the 1 is staying right with Montoya.
Yeah, quite honestly, they didn't work well together in practice. It'll be interesting to see because they really discussed pushing each other and how they were doing it. Juan, I don't think was all that happy, but I think right now he's probably pretty thrilled.
And look at them change lanes and stay hooked up from the top to the middle to the bottom and back to the middle. Montoya to the lead.
And McMurray in the 1 stayed with him till he got into the front, and then he backed off a little bit, probably overheating just a tick.
They spent a lot of time yesterday in practice working together, and they also spent a lot of time after practice talking about how the technique and how it was going to work.
Well, that was the boldest set of moves we've seen tonight. From Jimmy Johnson up high as Edwards and Stewart in the 14 go by on the bottom.
But it looks like what has happened, Darrell talked about it earlier, Montoya in the 42 in the middle, the sucker hole falls all the way back from leading the race almost outside the top 15.
Easy come, easy go. Not so easy. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back to the lead where he started the night, and just prior to getting the lead on the right of your screen, see the National Guard card behind Montoya.
Whoa.
Careful.
I tell you, that small rear blade, this spoiler down here, what, Larry, how much shorter is it than last year? 2 inches?
It's an inch, and you heard Danica Patrick talking earlier about rear downforce, rear grip gone because of that smaller rear spoiler.
It's really made these cars move around a whole lot more. I think that's creating some of these cars getting sideways the way they do.
Harvick and Ambrose side by side. And on the bottom, Kyle Busch trying to work his way back toward the front. Even with Harvick right now. Here's Matt.
Mike, one other reason for the impressive and bold moves by Dale Earnhardt Jr. when he was back in the middle of the pack and they're running 3 wide, his car was starting to overheat. He said his gauges were in the red. That's why